Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snaps here. I'm discussing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise for you guys in a very blunt way. I'm your host, Steven Harrold, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my personal ranking of the whole entire Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, rating all these movies from worst to best. Today, October 1st, 2024, marks the 50th anniversary of the release of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released back in 1974. And in that 50-year span, we've had 9 films. Some are good, some are bad, some are great, some are amazing, and some are just downright fucking terrible. And it's about time we get to the ranking of them. So, I will be giving you guys my personal ranking of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise from worst to best. Now, before I even get to do that, I want to make sure we get our chance to pay our respects to the ones we've lost throughout the 50-year history of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. So join me in a memory of all those actors we've lost. It's sad to see all of them gone, but they will never be forgotten. So, let's get to the ranking. From number 9 all the way to number 1, let's rank the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise from worst to best. At number 9, at the bottom of the barrel of this franchise, is none other than Leatherface, released in 2017. Now, this movie basically can be summed up as a bunch of nutcases break out of a mental institution and just take hostages and try to flee to Mexico from Texas. Oh, by the way, this is supposed to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film because one of the little fucking guys who came out of this mental institution happened to be fucking Leatherface. I said in my review, guys, this film was never meant to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. I guarantee this film was supposed to be something completely different, but the studio wanted to make sure they kept the rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise and decided to add a few new characters and change the beginning and the end of this film, and boom, it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. But it's not. It doesn't even feel like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. That's why Leatherface from 2017 is number 9 on this list. At number 8 on this list is going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2022, released on Netflix. Now, being a complete requel and a complete sequel to the original 1974 film, it's already been done before, so why do it again? Well, they decided to make this a little bit more complicated by making Sally Hardesty basically Laurie Strode, and this is a blatant ripoff of Halloween 2018. Leatherface is not too bad, but does not match the 1974 fucking original of Gunnar Hansen. And of course, the kills are the only thing that saved this fucking movie from being a complete dumpster fire. Now, of course, as we all know, the characters absolutely suck, and Melody is one of the most hated characters in this franchise. Couldn't stand her. After a third attempt, my rating only went just a 0.5 higher, but that's it. That's why Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is at number 8. Number 7 on this list is going to be Texas Chainsaw 3D, released in 2013. Now, of course, I did defend this movie for many years, until I realized after rewatching it, no, this is just the first straight requel, removing all the other films from the existence and only being a sequel to the first film. This is the first one to do it, and it didn't do a great job, especially when it came to continuity, because when you have Alexandra Daddario playing a 38-year-old when she was in fact 26 at the fucking time, makes no damn sense. You have quite possibly the only kills that seemed to work, but was only for a 3D gimmick. You have Leatherface, who became basically the protagonist in this film, and the rest of the town are the antagonists with their hillbilly fucking vigilante mob. Now, of course, the only thing that really goes up on this is the flashback sequence in 1974, where we see Gunnar Hansen reprise his duties of being a TCM fucking alumni, but playing a different character. We have Bill Moseley in this film, Marilyn Burns in this film, and just the pure respect that they actually tried to do to the 1974 film is one of the things that makes it good. But a lot of it really fucking lacks. And that's why Texas Chainsaw 3D is at number 7 on this list. Number 6 on this list is going to be Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Now, of course, this was my, third, fourth, fifth time watching it again. And, there have been some improvements. I mean, when it comes to the characters of this family that we are introduced with Mama and the little daughter of Leatherface, and we have all these other characters, especially with having Ken Foray in here, is just a nice little touch. But the movie, again, like I said, the kills were watered down. The two main characters aren't the greatest at all, and their chemistry absolutely sucks. You don't know if they're actually a boyfriend-girlfriend or brother and sister. You don't know. Leatherface, he doesn't look too bad in this movie, but when it comes to the rest of the characters, they're all entertaining as hell. It's just this movie is too dark. I don't know why half the time we can't see what the fuck we're looking at. But nonetheless, the movie does have some replay value from time to time, especially with a nice soundtrack, but that's why it's at number 6 on this list. Alright everyone, here we are at the top 5, and at number 5 we're going to have Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. I know, this movie probably would be last on everyone's fucking list, but hear me out. This was the very first Texas Chainsaw Massacre film I ever saw when I was young. And of course you have the wacky but show-stealing performance from Matthew McConaughey in this film. You got Renee Zellweger, who does actually portray a really good heroine and a final girl. Leatherface, he's just batshit insane. The whole movie's batshit insane, but it's memorable none the least. Now, you can kind of get away with the whole Illuminati thing and just be like, yeah, that fucking thing is dumb, and the whole ending itself is dumb. But this movie is actually a guilty pleasure to some, and it definitely is for me. That's why Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation is at number 5. Number 4 on this list is going to have to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Now, I know a lot of people would rank this a little bit higher in their list, but for me, at least it's in the top 5. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 still is that movie that is replayable. I can rewatch it from time to time, and the characters are solid nonetheless. I mean, you got Stretch, you have Lefty, you got Chop Top, Leatherface is goofy as fucking all hell, falls in love with fucking Stretch. You got LG, rest in peace, Lou Perryman. But nonetheless, this movie is memorable for being the fact that it's the sequel to the original, but completely takes a left fucking turn. No longer about horror and gore and all that kind of stuff, but mainly about comedy, horror, and gore. But really emphasis on the comedy. This movie is not even a guilty pleasure to me. It's one of the films I do enjoy watching from time to time, and that's why Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is going to be number 4 on this list. At number 3 on this list, it's going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Now, like I said, this one has a great replay value to me, especially with the performances of this film, especially with the late R. Lee Ermey of Sheriff Hoyt. Just the story itself in this, making it a prequel to the 2003 remake, and it just made sense to do it that way if you wanted to have more scenes with R. Lee Ermey in there, right? The kills were top notch, amazing fucking kills, amazing characters, and the story that just wraps up with an ending that you just don't see coming, even though it kind of made sense that it would come that way. Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, a lot of people kind of didn't really appreciate at the time, but now a lot of people are coming around to appreciate it more, and I'm one of the people who always liked this film. That's why Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, is at number 3. Alright, the top 2. 1974 or 2003? Which one takes number 1? Well, we have to get to number 2 first. So, at number 2, I know Chris ain't going to agree with me on this one, is going to be the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, this one is a classic nonetheless. Tobe Hooper's masterpiece, Gunnar Hansen's portrayal as Leatherface, Marilyn Burns as Sally Hardesty. Everything about this movie set the template. Now, of course, as a Halloween fan myself, I know a lot of people will probably say, well, without Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there wouldn't be a fucking Halloween. And to a degree, I can agree with you guys on that. Leatherface was brought into the main cinema 50 years ago with this film, and he has been an icon of horror, especially in the slasher genre. And this film, shot like a documentary, looks great and is often regarded as the goriest film ever made, even though there's barely any fucking gore in it. Now, this film has stood the test of time in the last 50 years, and if you haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I would highly recommend it. And it's one of the fucking movies that I will ever put in and still get some enjoyment from time to time. And that's why the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974 only made it to number 2. Well, if I didn't lose you guys already, or you guys aren't typing nonsense in the comments already, at least you guys know what number 2 is. And now we finally get to number 1, which to me, the best in the franchise is none other than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003. This remake was heavily hated back in the day, back in 2003. It was like blasphemy that this movie was getting a remake. But now a lot of people have come around in the over 20 years this film has been released and is saying is a masterpiece of a remake. Now, is it as a masterpiece as The Thing? Maybe. But when it comes to the slasher genre of remakes, it's one of the best. You have one of the most intimidating Leatherfaces ever portrayed. You got Jessica Biel's fucking final girl status. The characters are all great. And of course, as we all know, R. Lee fucking Ermey steals the damn show in this movie. Sergeant Hartman himself, who got casted because of that fucking role, got to make another icon before his passing. And we all got to enjoy what R. Lee Ermey delivered to us, especially with the gore that was more ramped up than the 1974 film. And of course, having that replay value from time to time, especially since this was one of the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre film I ever saw in theaters, and one of the best ones I saw in theaters. It's no surprise that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003 is at number 1 and is the best in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. So tell me guys, what did you think of my ranking of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise from worst to best? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification to get notified about all the other videos coming out on the channel. Now, that's it for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, guys. I'd like to personally thank Chris for actually joining me on this. I know this is his franchise, like how Halloween's my franchise. But thank you again for joining me on 8 of the 9 film reviews. Well, technically you joined me all 9, as one was 2 years ago. Now that it's October, it's now time to get into the month of Horrorween here at the Ginger Snaps here. So anyways, guys, that's it for me. This has been Steven Harrold from the Ginger Snaps here. I will talk to you guys later, and remember to stay spooky, and the Saw is family.